How's everybody doing today? I hope everybody's having a blessed day. Today, this video is going to be about how I'm going to be biking every day to work, commuting there and back for the rest of the summer and fall. I plan on also biking up until winter, right? Up until winter, I'll probably start using the car again. I'll only use it on the weekends mostly. One of the reasons why I'm going to be biking, and I know gas prices are through the roof, but that's only about 40% of why I'm going to be biking, not entirely. But where I live in Madison, Wisconsin, but I work in Verona, which is 20-minute drive. Verona is a very rich county, so cops are just stopping you for whatever reason, right? It's one of those counties where they'll run your plates, and I feel like I got profiled because of the car that I drive. I drive a 2010 Malibu, Chevy Malibu. It's not fancy, it's just to get me from point A to point B. I got stopped for something that happened in 2017 about how I have to have a breathalyzer in the car, but I was unaware of that. I had a DUI back in the days where I got stopped. I was getting drunk with my cousin and with this other guy who I used to give rides to the chocolate factory when I used to work at the chocolate factory, White Mike. I used to give him a ride every day. I just want to say real quick, if you guys want to support my clothing brand, faith-based clothing brand, link in the bio, it would be much appreciated if you guys want to check it out. And one day after work, being reckless, I got drunk. We all got drunk at his house, and I got stopped that day. DUI, my first DUI, my first and last. I pray to God that I'll never get another DUI. I don't plan on drinking, if anything. That drinking and driving is something only cowboys do, Only cowboys drink and drive. So me having an e-bike when my car broke down like a month ago, it was in the shop for 1 month, so I had to e-bike. So I bought an e-bike for $250, and I was e-biking there. It's a 35-minute commute there and back, another 35 minutes. So that'll be like an hour and 10 minutes of commute that I was doing for like a month, right? Almost a month. So I decided that that's what I'm going to be doing to save on gas, and just so I can have that feeling of peace while I'm commuting there. I feel like I'm watching over my back, and it just doesn't feel safe to me because I work the second shift, right? And I'm not going to be living my life in fear. Through God's grace, Jesus Christ, I no longer do that, right? So when I was living in the world back in the day, I used to drink and drive. I used to be reckless, picking up my boys, right? My boys, my friends, and then getting drunk and then buying them beer at the time. And they would never really pitch in, right? I would be the one pitching in. I would be the one who would buy the alcohol most of the time. And they would tell me that, oh, bro, when I get a job, I'm going to be pitching in. I'm going to be buying you beer. But soon as people got jobs, they kind of go their own way, right? That I was like a plan B. I was like that guy that they used for beer. I was like the last resort. That's how I felt. At least 50% of the time, right? So me e-biking to work, what does that have to do with drinking? Well, There's been about maybe 2 instances, 3 instances since I've worked there where I work in Verona. I've been working there since September of 2025, where I've gone there tipsy. I've gone there tipsy, situations where I've been in where I've drunk maybe 2, 3 beers, 4, 5, and I go there tipsy where I'm risking it. Now imagine if I would have got stopped. I would have got stopped. It just because I got stopped by the police last week. So it just made me look at the bigger picture and like, damn, I could have got stopped, right? It's only through the grace of God that they didn't run my plates throughout all those months from September, late September to May right now, right? That's about 8 months, right? Yeah, it's about 8 months. And those 3 times that I was driving through that county, I didn't get stopped. Now, I would have gone to jail. I could have lost my job. I could have lost my job. I could have gone to jail. It could have been my second DUI. And I can't even imagine. It's just like, I don't even enjoy drinking like that anymore like I used to. Because I just want to play it safe. I want to play it safe. I just want to go to work, save a little money on gas, come home, and live the sober lifestyle that I'm done being a cowboy. I used to be a cowboy, right? Driving drunk, picking up my boys. I did that for a couple years when I was living in the trailer park. That was when I was down bad, right? Alcohol was big in my life back then. That drinking was a lifestyle. It wasn't something that I was scared of doing. It was something to relieve myself from stress, social activity back when I used to be surrounded by people. I used to live in the trailer park I had 2 cousins living there, at one point 3 cousins, and then a couple friends that would swing by, that would be like the meetup place. And everything was just chaotic. Everything was calm, but chaotic, right? We weren't like troublemakers. I wasn't a thief, never was a thief really. I got caught stealing Yu-Gi-Oh cards when I was young, when I was in 7th grade, but I learned my lesson. I stole Hollister shirts back when Hollister was kind of big. Abercrombie and Fitch when I was going through my preppy phase. I also stole a couple of shirts with my boy. But other than that, that was in freshman year of high school. And I learned my lesson. And this is what has been going through my mind, that, I think people who drink and drive and go to the bars, I feel like that's brave of them. It's brave of them, that to have that mentality of going there and risking it, to risk your freedom because alcohol is legal. You can go to the store, and the way alcohol is displayed, they make it look fancy. These bottles are on sale, right? Big liters of vodka for $15, right? All you can drink. Get tipsy, get woozy. And then if you get stopped by the cops, let alone you run over somebody, you get life. You'll get sentenced to however the judge is feeling is how you're going to get sentenced, right? That the Bible says that when you're in the presence of the king, don't be hasty to leave their presence. Be careful what you say, because they can do anything that they want, right? And nowadays we're not in the presence of kings, but modern day kings could be police, judges. That when I got stopped, I never give police attitude. I know my rights, that I don't have to say anything. They question me, where you coming from, work. They ask me, where you coming from, I'm telling them work. They pulled me out the car and he asked me if he could check my pockets. I said, yeah, check my pockets, whatever. I could have told him no, right? There was no probable cause for me to be suspicious. He asked me if I had a knife. And then at the end, when he let me go, he said, thanks for being cool about it. I've been in 2 situations like that where I just give them what they want, tell them the truth, and it's just a business transaction, and they let me go. I don't like to argue. Everybody that knows me, I don't like to argue. I've never been the argumentative type. And in these days, I want to play it safe. With the economy, gas prices going through the roof. They want to hit us with their gas prices because they know that a lot of people are not really buying things, are not really buying wants. They're only buying needs. So they're like, okay, gas is a need, so we're going to hit them there. So, I'm not really going to be going along with that. And I'm going to be e-biking from now on.